Namaste. This is Timothy Halloran. I'm an astrologer located in Savannah, Georgia. This is a bi-weekly astrological forecast. Today is Thursday, February 4th, 2016. And it is a profound time. We're entering a very profound time. And before I get into it any further, I need to begin by explaining that I have a cardinal grand cross formed between Pluto, Uranus, Black Moon, Lilith, and my natal Chiron, Jupiter. So I've been bedridden and barely able to function this week because my wounds and cellular memories are oozing out. And so I just want to get that out of the way so that we can understand, because I'm a very unconsciously expressive person, that just because I feel damned doesn't mean that everybody is, okay? So, that being said, we are entering a very deep and very profound time, and I'm feeling that wormhole, okay, and we're all kind of going into this wormhole, so we can still, we still have a lot to talk about, okay. And today we have the moon in Sagittarius, void of course. There's been quite a few void of course moons this last week, and when the moon is void of course, we tend to feel less certain, less decisive. There's some inner wishy-washiness as we inwardly process. And there's been a lot of inward processing that has been going on these last several weeks, with Mercury retrograde in Capricorn joined with Pluto. So that's really been going on the last couple weeks, is Mercury on Pluto in Capricorn. And for those that remember, 2 videos ago we talked about this Mercury retrograde in Capricorn being like a descent into our own personal prisons, our own past, our own limitations. The conditions that have been set by our past experiences, the comfort zones that have been set by our past experiences, and how these things are oftentimes tied to culture, family structure, job, career, so on and so forth. It's been this digging into the structure, the mechanisms of what is, and it's been deep in a psychological sense. Yeah, with Mercury. Mercury is our mind, joined with Pluto is this penetrative detective that we've all been kind of using these last several weeks as we process. And we are moving into now a new moon in Aquarius that's going to be Monday, February 8th, 9:38 a.m. Eastern Time. This new moon in Aquarius, Aquarius time, is really about busting out, breaking out of old conditions, of old patterns, of old restrictions, of the mechanisms. And these mechanisms, as we're going to talk about, they exist not just physically, they exist mentally, they exist emotionally, they exist spiritually. Conditions, limitations, boxes that we've all been put in or put ourselves in various ways. And we've got Uranus square to Pluto, T-square, you know, this T-square with Black Moon Lilith. We've got the moon is going to move into Capricorn tonight and then join up with Venus and Pluto tomorrow. Venus and the moon square to Uranus, square to Black Moon Lilith. So Friday evening, you know, all Friday we have this intensity. And this is largely playing out through relationships, through significant others, and whether or not we have a significant other. This stuff tends to play out through relationship. There is transformation that is going on. There are values that are being shifted. And this is all hopefully in the service of us breaking out of the box and liberating ourselves and stepping into the new. And what we're going to talk about today is the process that is involved into doing this. To actually do this is a process. It's not something that happens overnight. There are so many people excited about the age of Aquarius and are giddy to skip and jump straight there without going through the process or doing any of the work. And so we're going to talk about this next phase that we're entering. It's a profound phase. It's a deep phase. And it is a game-changing period, particularly for those of us who are consciously going deep and doing the work. But this is a period where processes play out whether or not we're conscious of them or not. There is some rather deep purging and healing that's going to be going on the next month, really the next 6 months. But it's already starting to begin now. It's beginning with this new moon in Aquarius, which is an opportunity for us to sow a seed of intention of the liberation that we desire, the freedom that we yearn for, the spontaneity, the playfulness, and also Aquarius is connectivity. As we move into this age of Aquarius, we are becoming more and more connected with each other. And for those of us who think that we're in the age of Aquarius already, it's because we haven't realized how much we're not truly connected. And a lot of the healing that's going to be going on this next month, which leads into a solar eclipse in Pisces, is going to be this healing of the root core issues that prevent us from legitimately and authentically connecting and feeling liberated, feeling free in the way that we so desire. And so there is an opportunity with this new moon to sow a seed of intention for us to break free, to liberate ourselves, and not just liberate ourselves as an individual, but liberate ourselves collectively. We are entering a period that is going to be focused on the collective. We have Jupiter retrograde with the moon's north node forming an opposition to Chiron in Pisces. The moon's south node is getting closer and closer to Chiron in Pisces. These moon's nodes in the Virgo-Pisces axis is bringing up all of the last age, the age of Pisces, which is the age that we have not transitioned out of. We are not in the age of Aquarius. We are in the process of transitioning into the age of Aquarius, and we do not transition into the age of Aquarius until this process is completed. This process is a lot of what's going on this year when the moon's nodes are in the Virgo-Pisces axis. This is an opportunity for us to do this type of collective, big picture healing. So yesterday we had 4 planets, 2 asteroids, all connected through sextile, and they're all going from the signs of Capricorn to Pisces. Actually, Sagittarius to Pisces. These are all far out, big picture, collective signs that have to do not only with me and you as individuals, our relationship as individuals, but lo and behold, we are discovering the core, root issues underneath our little individual problems, our feeling left out, our feeling upset by this and that, and in our relationships, feelings of injustice, feelings of a lack of connectivity, feelings of a lack of intimacy. Now is the time for us to start unveiling the deeper core issues that connect these issues to collective, age-old problems, we're going to say. Issues. I mean, karma, trauma. All right? This stuff goes deeper than many of us like to prefer. Yeah? It's like when we have a relationship issue, wouldn't it be nice if you could just change that and I could just change that and we could start dating on this night instead of that night? And this stuff goes a hell of a lot deeper. There is unconscious stuff going on between us and our partner, in us and ourselves, us and our desires, us and our sexuality. How well do we perform in comparison to our ideas of what we want to be doing is going to be the major thing that's coming up. We've got Mars in Scorpio. Mars in Scorpio has been digging up these desires that are not necessarily pretty, that we can't necessarily release because they're a part of our primal nature, they're part of our DNA, they're part of our makeup, and a lot of it's coming out of a not perfect world and a not perfect age. And we're having to admit things about ourselves that don't perfectly always line up, our ideals and our actions. What we would like to be doing and what we're actually doing. And so this new moon in Aquarius is square to Mars. All right, that's a little bit of some tension between Mars and Scorpio, what we're doing, our desires, our actual desires. And Mars in Scorpio is also about transforming our desires. This is a synergistic, productive new moon that's taking us into a month that's going to be about us figuring out and aligning my willpower, my beliefs, my ideals. Yeah. You know, it's like many of us want to skip and jump into the new age of Aquarius. And this requires digging into ourselves and doing the unconscious, subconscious work, resolving these core issues. At least the people that are actually taking us into this new age, that's what they're doing. All right. Unfortunately, the way it works is that few souls actually do the collective work, and then the majority of souls ride on the coattails of everybody else. And I hate to say it, but that's reality. And I would like to take a moment to applaud those of you who are struggling. If you feel like you're struggling and you're not perfect and you don't have all your shit together, I applaud you. Because you are probably one of the souls that's actually digging into your stuff and doing the work rather than trying to sweep it all under the rug, put a big fake grin on your face, and skip and jump into the new age of Aquarius, when in fact you're just riding the coattails of the people who are doing the actual work, and those people are the ones that oftentimes get scapegoated because they're not having a great time because they're the heavy movers. All right. It's not always fun or easy to be a mover. It's not always fun or easy to transition from one age into the next. Okay? It's not always easy to see our unconscious nature reflected off of other people and our partners and our relationships. And we start seeing how what we want in some part of ourselves and what we want in another part of ourselves isn't always totally aligned. And so this is friction time. This is a synergistic time. So I'm somewhat happy for us all that Venus is joining with Pluto, square to Uranus, square to Black Moon Lilith this weekend. Yeah, that's the 5th, the 6th, the 7th. Rather than next weekend, which is the 14th, Valentine's Day. You know, hopefully we can try to lay this stuff out. We've been talking about this for weeks. Mars in Scorpio with Juno in Scorpio is about laying this stuff out and being real with it. This is a highly intense transformative weekend we're going into. And then on Monday we have our new moon. Square to Mars, and we've also got two inconjuncts. Uranus is inconjunct to Mars, the new moon is inconjunct to Jupiter. That is some of the friction between what we're actually doing, our actual willpower, our actual desires, coming from deep, unconscious parts of ourselves, and our ideals, what we want up here, what we'd like to get to up here. There is some friction. It's not all in total alignment. And that is what is going to take us into the eclipse season, which is, it's not in total alignment because we were born in an age where culture is severely messed up. And this is a part of being here right now, is we don't have to berate ourselves or belittle ourselves because not everything is perfectly aligned the way some people like to make believe. But actually, look at the collective situation. Look at the world and determine, are we in the age of Aquarius yet? Are we all connected? Are we all liberated? Do we know? Do we see that my nature is reflected in your nature? That we are fundamentally one and the same? I don't think so. I don't think so. I look out into the collective and the world and I see a lot of nationalism. I see a shitload of sexism. I see tons and tons of incompatibility, hierarchies, being labeled, being separated. This is not liberation or connectivity. Do we really think that we're just going to be able to meditate for 3 hours a day and then we're going to get there? Yes, we are learning all the tools, all the tips, all the little crafts, all the little healing methods that are going to assist our process. But this is our healing process. And our individual healing process is connected to the collective. Okay, so we don't have to take it super, super personally, but we do have to be aware of some of the underlying dynamics, okay? Which means that, you know, the Sabian symbol for this moon is a dove circling above and then bringing down a message, okay? The message that we are receiving right now is that this stuff goes deep. This stuff is connected to not just black or white, but all of these different shades and colors. And that's okay, because where is this going to be leading us is the light at the end of the tunnel. Okay, and that's the hope. That's the hope that we all need. For those of us who are doing the work, digging deep, doing the moving, we need hope. We need to not be crushed, yeah, It's a Saturn square Neptune year. This is a year where we have our fundamental beliefs challenged. This is a year where we can experience doubt, where we can experience frustration. You can experience hopelessness. So we have to be able to lift ourselves up via some idea of love, of faith, your beloved, your family, etc. We had asteroid Ceres move into Pisces last week. And this is giving us the capability to really reflect on our own capability to love and nurture ourselves and other and really the whole world in a much more unconditionally and loving way. And then that asteroid Ceres is going to move ahead and join Chiron and the Sun and Moon in a solar eclipse in Pisces in early March. And that's going to involve some looking at our really deep unconscious patterns of what it means to be a human being, of what it means to be a spiritual being, of what it means to be alive on this planet at this time where every individual story is connected to the collective story, and we are starting to look at the collective themes. We can't take it so personally all the time. We can't let ourselves be dragged down by the assignments of black and white, pass or fail, good or bad, you're a victim or you're a martyr. That's the stuff. That's the stuff from the last age, is all of us on a very deep unconscious level in some shape, form, or another have shame, have guilt, because we've done something wrong. We weren't the person we were supposed to be. We're not doing an 100% pass. We're not 100% celibate. We're not 100% perfect. Whatever. And then the list goes and we start cat of nine tailing ourselves in the back. We're not perfect. We're not connected. So we are starting to look at some of these deeper themes. Begin early. Yeah, that's why we're having this talk now. This is a foreshadowing of the next months and then months to come. But we're doing it now so we can sow a seed of intention into this new moon in Aquarius. What is our goal of liberation, and how can we change and align our willpower, our desire, our focus, our direction in a way to actually, productively get there? Not just skip and jump, but actually, I want to get to the age of Aquarius where everybody is in love, everybody is interconnected, and we all see our nature reflected in one another. What is here that is preventing that from happening? What is the stuff that is here that we're moving through? Is it the guilt? Is it the shame? Is it the belief systems? Is it the culture? Is it the nation? Is it our childhood? Is it how our parents raised us? Is it not even how the way our parents raised us in a spoken, conscious, easy to understand way, but in a rather deep, unspoken, unconscious, energetic, it's just the way it is in this world, in this life, for all souls at this time, so we don't even think twice about it. We just bite the hook and take the bait. And now is the time for us to say, aha, I've been hooked. Aha, I've been hooked. And you know what? I am not doing anything wrong in order to feel like I've been hooked. Because that is the stuff that's preventing me from feeling connected to everybody. Yeah. Let's talk about it, in a breakdown kind of way. It's just like, truth is a big pill to swallow, and we're not going to swallow the pill of truth overnight. I haven't swallowed it. I don't know the truth, period. This is something that we ease ourselves into. And the majority of people aren't comfortable confronting the reality that is very deep beneath the surface, which is why I want to get to the age of Aquarius by doing, something really superficial and easy. And it's all about how it looks on the surface and the way I act on the surface. And that's fine for those people who can, it's the people that are doing the real work, do it out of unconditional love for all other souls, that not everybody has to do this work. Not everybody has to swallow this pill if we don't want to. But you know what? We're coming into an age where if we don't start stepping up, it's not going to get any easier for the rest of us. We have to start stepping up. For those of us who feel, okay, you know what? I'm not going to be a fucking bullshitter anymore. This is the time for me. This is the time for me to step up. This is the time for me to feel real. You know what? I can't avoid this stuff. I see it. I feel it. It's all being thrown into me. This is foreshadowing of what's coming up, but we want to be ready to get through it, to the light at the end of the tunnel, the other side, which is what? We can connect more intimately. We feel more connected. I feel like man and woman are more on the same level. I feel like me and my family members, mom and dad, we're more on the same level. Me and my boss, me and other races, other nations, etc. We are leavening the field. Yeah, we're making it all nice. So we can see our human nature. That's the future. In order to get here, we have to look at all of the conditions, past experiences, cellular memories, and deeply ingrained belief systems that have fragmented our ideals of this looks nice, this looks fun, this is where I'm going to be, and this is what I'm doing today. I work 9 to 5, and then I go watch TV, and I'm going to skip and jump into the age of Aquarius. There is conflict here, and so all we're doing is we're being sincere and honest with this is how I want to be liberated. Let desires manifest our reality. Our reality is manifested by desires. If we sincerely desire liberation, we will get it. Okay, because that means I will be liberated no matter what. I don't care if it's a bumpy path or a smooth path because I want to be liberated. Instead of I will be liberated if it's easy and it comes to me and it's served on a silver platter. So, I mean, it's just very typical. We can just look into the world and we have all these world religions and you go to a church and people sit you down and there's a collective belief that you're all good, you're all safe. You sign the right roster, you sign up for the list, so now you're good. Sit back and relax. You're in the chosen land. You're one of the chosen people. And everybody ignores the part where Christ says, if you want to be a follower of me, pick up your cross and follow me. We all just got to pick up our crosses, no problem. You want to know how to get out of the age of the Pisces into the age of Aquarius? Pick up your cross. Yeah, it's not going to always be so cathartic and masochistic, sadist, and oh, it's the end of the world. It's not always going to be like that, but we've got to start with where we are. We've got to start with where we are. We've got to start with where we are. Okay? So this is the opportunity for us to pick up the conditions, the past experiences, the cellular memories, the prejudices, the oppressions, the sexism, the racism. Okay? We remember, and it's time for us to move forward, not by ignoring that that stuff is there, but by taking it and possessing it. This is mine. This is my story. This is my inner conflict. Okay? We don't need to feel bad for being conflicted human beings in a conflicted world. We want to be real about being conflicted beings in a conflicted world so we can be the ones to repair it. All right. So that was a little heavier than I was kind of hoping. But in all experiences of fall from grace, okay, let's remember that it is all transformation, transmutation, and inevitably evolution, which means that we are going into our prison. We've been going into our prison to recognize it, to diagnose it, to see to the core issues, and then bust out of here. So, it's been an intense last week. Then we've got this new moon in Aquarius. Next week, it's a little bit more smooth, yeah, leading up to the full moon, which is February 22nd. Okay, and then early March, it's into solar eclipse season. We're digging deep. We're doing the healing of this age. We are seeing the collective story. And it's going to lead us into digging deep into the complexity and the inconceivable nature, which will lead us into seeing the beauty of this story, the beauty of our story, the beauty of this world. Although it may not be a beauty we can just skip and jump into, it is a beauty that does unfold. It comes deeper to us. It becomes more inconceivable to us. It breaks open our heart. Let us remember that this is all in the service of our hearts being drilled. We are drilling through all of the confusion, all of the inner conflict, all of the trauma, all of the survival mechanisms that were put around our heart for very good reason. It's not our fault that we've put walls around our heart. And it's not a bad thing that these walls are being drilled into and taken down. So we've got a new moon in Aquarius on Monday. Then Mercury and then Venus move into Aquarius the 14th and the 16th next week. So we're still in this very Capricorn-centric, intense, digging deep, being real, looking at boundaries, looking at limitations, looking at what needs to be done in this mechanism. And then starting next week, after Valentine's Day, it's going to start getting a little bit more fast-paced, a little bit more far out, a little bit more experimental, and we're going to start to see more objectively, start to see these patterns, witness this process, and hopefully invent some solutions of how we can be the grenade in the steel box and blow out all of these limiting core beliefs, all of these cultural patterns that have kept us from feeling truly connected, truly intimate, and in touch with the liberated nature that is at the source of it all. And in that endeavor, I so much wish the best for yourself, for your beloveds. Namaste.